I want you to imagine something. Imagine you could only keep one thing from your entire fitness life. One tool, one piece of equipment. Everything else disappears. Your gym membership, gone. Your treadmill, gone. Your barbell and plates, gone. Your resistance bands, gone. Your rowing machine, gone. Everything, except one thing. What would you keep? I've asked this question to dozens of serious fitness practitioners, people who've trained for decades, former competitive athletes, personal trainers, physical therapists, strength coaches. The answer isn't unanimous, but it's surprisingly consistent. And the tool that comes up more than any other, more than barbells, more than body weight, more than any machine, is the kettlebell. Kettlebells are all you need. That's the claim. Today I'm proving it. Not with enthusiasm, not with the missionary zeal of a kettlebell convert, with a systematic, honest examination of what complete fitness actually requires and whether one tool can genuinely deliver it. Because if the answer is yes, the implications for how you spend your money, your time, and your energy on fitness are significant. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to make the most complete case for minimalist kettlebell training you've ever heard. But I'm going to do something most people making this argument don't do. I'm going to be honest about the limits. I'm going to tell you exactly who this claim is true for and exactly who it isn't. Because a claim that's true for most people, but presented as universally true, eventually loses everyone when they discover the exceptions. Stay with me, let's get into it. First, let's define what all you need actually means. Here's where most arguments like this fall apart. The claim kettlebells are all you need is only meaningful if we first define what you need. And this definition varies significantly by goal. If you need to be a competitive powerlifter, kettlebells aren't all you need. You need barbells, specific, heavy barbells. No honest person argues otherwise. If you need to be a competitive Olympic weightlifter, kettlebells aren't all you need. You need the specific implements and techniques of Olympic weightlifting. There's no way around this. If you need to compete in professional bodybuilding, kettlebells probably aren't all you need. The specific muscle isolation and extreme loading required for competitive bodybuilding typically requires more tools. But here's the question we're actually asking. For the vast majority of people's actual fitness goals, meaning health, longevity, functional strength, athletic body composition, cardiovascular fitness, pain-free movement, and quality of life, are kettlebells all you need? That question has a different answer, and that answer is genuinely yes for a remarkable proportion of people with these goals. Let's build this case carefully. What complete fitness actually requires? Here's a framework for thinking about complete fitness that most people have never seen laid out clearly. Complete fitness requires the development of 6 qualities. Maximum strength, the ability to produce large amounts of force. Explosive power, the ability to produce force quickly. Strength endurance, the ability to produce force repeatedly over time. Cardiovascular fitness, the efficiency of your heart, lungs, and circulatory system. Mobility and flexibility, your body's range of motion and movement quality. And body composition, the ratio of muscle to fat tissue in your body. A fitness tool or approach that addresses all 6 of these qualities provides complete fitness. A tool that addresses fewer than 6 requires supplementation with other tools to be complete. Let's examine what kettlebells provide against this framework. Maximum strength. Kettlebells develop significant functional strength through loaded carries, double kettlebell pressing, rows, and squats. The ceiling is lower than a barbell, specifically for maximal loading. But for most people's actual strength needs, the ceiling is more than sufficient. This is a partial yes with a caveat. Explosive power. Kettlebells develop explosive power through swings, snatches, and cleans. The ballistic nature of these movements is specifically and optimally suited to developing rate of force development, the quality that underlies athletic power. This is a complete yes. Strength endurance. Kettlebells develop strength endurance through high-rep protocols, long duration carries, and complex sequences. Few tools rival kettlebells for this quality. Complete yes. Cardiovascular fitness. Kettlebell swing intervals, snatch protocols, and long duration carries develop cardiovascular fitness to a degree comparable to or exceeding traditional cardiovascular training equipment. Research supports this extensively. Complete, yes. Mobility and flexibility. Kettlebell movements, particularly the Turkish get-up, windmill and loaded carries through varied positions, develop functional mobility under load. Dynamic hip hinge movements stretch hip flexors regularly. Overhead work develops shoulder mobility. This is a yes, with the note that dedicated mobility work alongside training accelerates these benefits. Body composition. The combination of strength training stimulus and metabolic demand from kettlebell training creates excellent body composition outcomes. Muscle preservation and building alongside fat loss. Complete yes. 5 complete yeses and 1 partial yes, with a caveat about maximal loading. For anyone whose goals don't specifically require maximum loading, kettlebells check all 6 boxes. This is the evidence-based foundation of the claim that kettlebells are all you need. But evidence-based foundations aren't enough by themselves. We need to talk about the practical realities. The practical case. What actually makes the claim true in real life? Here's where the theoretical framework meets the real world, and the case gets even stronger. Because the reasons kettlebells work in theory are amplified by practical realities that make competing approaches fail in ways that theory doesn't capture. Practical reality 1. The best training is the training you actually do. Research on exercise adherence consistently shows that the primary predictor of fitness outcomes over 1, 2, and 5-year periods isn't the quality of the program or the sophistication of the equipment. It's adherence, whether people actually do it. Consistently, over time, kettlebells address adherence barriers more comprehensively than almost any other tool. They're available at home, eliminating the commute barrier. They require minimal time, eliminating the schedule barrier. They need minimal space, eliminating the facility barrier. They're affordable as a one-time purchase, eliminating the ongoing financial barrier. They're simple enough to use without a trainer, eliminating the expertise barrier. When you remove all these barriers simultaneously, adherence improves dramatically. And better adherence with a theoretically less optimal tool produces better real-world results than poor adherence with a theoretically optimal tool. This is not a compromise. This is an understanding of how human behavior actually works. Practical reality 2. Complexity kills progress for most people. The fitness industry has successfully convinced people that complexity equals effectiveness. Advanced periodization, varied exercise selection, constant program changes to prevent adaptation. Multiple tools serving different purposes. This complexity isn't just unnecessary for most people's goals. It actively undermines progress by making the required knowledge and decision-making so demanding that most people can never get far enough into any approach to see meaningful results. Kettlebells enable radical simplification without sacrificing effectiveness. 5 fundamental movements, progressive overload applied to those 5 movements, consistent practice. That's the entire system. This simplicity isn't a limitation, it's a feature. Because simplicity is what makes long-term consistency possible for real people living real lives. Practical reality 3. The minimalist approach forces mastery rather than enabling perpetual beginner syndrome. Here's a paradox in modern fitness that almost nobody talks about. The abundance of tools and exercises available in a commercial gym actually prevents most people from ever getting genuinely good at anything. You learn a movement superficially, then switch to a different exercise next week, then switch again. You're always a beginner. You never develop mastery, and mastery, not variety, is what produces the deepest adaptations. With kettlebells as your primary tool, you're forced to develop mastery. You practice the same 5 movement patterns repeatedly over months and years. Your hip hinge becomes world-class. Your press becomes deeply efficient. Your carries become a meditation. This mastery produces adaptations that perpetual variety training never achieves. The Soviet athletes we've discussed throughout this channel were extraordinary partly because they mastered a small number of movements to an extraordinary depth. The limitation forced depth. The depth produced results. The same principle applies to anyone who commits to kettlebells as their primary tool. The equipment reality that makes this undeniable. Here's the financial and practical calculation that often ends this argument decisively. A complete commercial gym membership in most markets costs between $50 and $150 monthly. Over 5 years, that's $3,000 to $9,000, plus commute costs, plus commute time, often 200 to 400 hours over 5 years. A complete kettlebell setup for most people's needs, 2 or 3 bells of appropriate weights, costs between $200 and $500. One time lasts decades with zero maintenance. The return on investment comparison isn't close. For most people pursuing most fitness goals, the kettlebell approach delivers comparable or superior results at a fraction of the cost and time investment. When someone says kettlebells are all you need, they're partly making a practical argument that's as much about reclaiming your time and money as it is about the physiology, the programs that prove the claim. Here's where we move from argument to demonstration. What does a complete fitness program look like when kettlebells are all you need? Let me show you 2 versions. Version 1, the Minimalist Complete Program, 3 days per week, 20 to 30 minutes per session. Day 1, swing emphasis. 24 kilogram bell for most men, 16 for most women. Swings, 5 sets of 20 reps. Rest 60 seconds between sets. Single arm row, 4 sets of 10 per arm. Turkish get-up, 3 reps per side. Day 2, strength emphasis. Double kettlebell front squat, 4 sets of 8 reps. Single arm press, 5 sets of 5 reps per arm, heavier than your normal press weight. Farmer carry, 3 sets of 60 seconds. Day 3, conditioning emphasis. Kettlebell complex, clean to squat to press, 5 reps each movement per arm, repeated for 5 rounds. Rest 90 seconds between rounds, finish with 10-minute EMOM, 15 swings every minute. 3 days, 30 minutes maximum. This program develops all 6 fitness qualities: maximum strength from heavy pressing and squatting, explosive power from swings and cleans, strength endurance from carries and high rep work, cardiovascular fitness from complexes and swing intervals, mobility from Turkish get-ups and carries, body composition from the combination of all of the above. Version 2, the Daily Minimum Program, 6 days per week, 10 to 15 minutes per session. Every day, 50 swings and 1 set of 5 Turkish get-ups per side. Monday and Thursday, add 3 sets of 10 goblet squats. Tuesday and Friday, add 3 sets of 8 single arm presses per arm. Wednesday and Saturday, add 3 sets of 10 single arm rows per arm. Sunday, rest. Daily practice. Minimal time. Complete coverage of all movement patterns. Progressive overload by increasing weight when current weight becomes manageable throughout. Both of these programs, executed consistently and with progressive overload, will produce transformations that most people training in commercial gyms with full equipment access fail to achieve. Not despite using only kettlebells. Partly because of it. The constraint forces quality, consistency, and progressive overload rather than the endless variety that prevents mastery. Who kettlebells are all you need for? Here's the honest, specific answer. Kettlebells are all you need if your goals include any combination of the following: being strong, lean, and athletic, living without chronic pain, having energy and vitality for your actual life, moving well into your 50s, 60s, and beyond, building a sustainable fitness practice that fits into real life rather than competing with it, being capable of physical demands that life throws at you unexpectedly. This describes the vast majority of people pursuing fitness. Not to compete in strength sports, not to reach professional athletic standards, to be genuinely healthy, strong, and capable for life. For this population, and it's a large population, kettlebells aren't a compromise. They're not the best available, given certain constraints. They're genuinely the optimal approach for these specific goals, for reasons we've now laid out comprehensively. Who kettlebells aren't all you need for. Here's the honest exception list. You need more than kettlebells if you're training for competitive powerlifting or Olympic weightlifting. If your goal is maximizing absolute muscle mass to competitive bodybuilding standards, if you're training for a specific sport that has equipment-specific demands, if you've been training consistently for many years and have genuinely exhausted the progression available within kettlebell training. That last exception deserves a note. Most people who think they've exhausted kettlebell progression haven't. They've exhausted the variation they've been using. There's typically substantial progression available in heavier bells, more complex movements, higher volume, reduced rest, more challenging carries, or more demanding flows. True limitation of the tool rather than the training requires very advanced development indeed. The one thing that makes all of this true. Here's the condition that makes everything I've said accurate. Consistency and progressive overload. Kettlebells are all you need only if you actually use them consistently, with progressively increasing challenge over time. A kettlebell sitting in the corner, used occasionally, doesn't replace a gym. A kettlebell used 3 times weekly for 2 years with systematic progressive overload does replace a gym. More than replaces it. This condition isn't a caveat that undermines the argument. It's the same condition that makes any fitness approach work. But the practical realities we discussed, the low barriers, the simplicity, the accessibility, make this condition significantly easier to meet with kettlebells than with most alternatives. Your challenge. Here's what I want you to do. For the next 12 weeks, make the kettlebell your only tool. Not as a permanent commitment. As an experiment, follow one of the 2 programs I outlined, whichever fits your available time better. Track your strength on the fundamental movements. Track your conditioning through swings in 5 minutes. Track your body composition through photos and measurements. Track your energy, pain levels, and overall quality of movement. 12 weeks from now, compare where you are against where you started. Then make your own honest assessment of whether kettlebells are all you need. Not based on what I've argued. Based on your own data. I already know what most of you will find, but the evidence from your own body is more convincing than any argument. If you're committing to the 12-week kettlebell-only experiment, drop a comment saying, "Kettlebells only." Let's build a community of people conducting the same experiment simultaneously, sharing results, holding each other accountable, and proving or disproving the claim with real data. And if you want detailed progression guides, form tutorials, and week-by-week programming for both programs I described, smash that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Kettlebells are all you need. For most people, for most goals. In most life contexts, not as a compromise, as a genuine optimal approach backed by physiology, behavioral science, financial logic, and the lived experience of thousands of people who've made this discovery for themselves. The question isn't whether kettlebells can replace your gym. The question is whether you're ready to find out that they can. I'll see you in the next video. Now go pick up the only tool you need.